Later, we have learned that GraphQL is a query language. Now we're going to explore why we need GraphQL. Is there any benefit of using GraphQL over REST? Or if GraphQL is there in the market, then why we need REST APIs? Let's talk about these things. First of all, let me tell you that why we need a GraphQL. Well, GraphQL has resolved the data fetching challenges like underfetching and overfetching. Now, what are underfetching and overfetching? Let's explore these with the help of REST APIs. Let's take an example of simple Facebook application where we want to show the post in the newsfeed of Facebook application. I'm not going into the complexity of the Facebook data structure, so I'll simply consider the posts of a single user. Let's say we want to get all the posts that a single user has created, then we want to get the comments on each post. Also, we want to get the likes on each post. So basically, there we have three endpoints, the one with API/users/ID/posts, which will return the post of a user against the user ID. Then we have another endpoint which is API/users/ID/posts/post/ID/comments, and this endpoint will return the list of comments on a single post against the post ID. Now we have another endpoint which is API/users/ID/posts/post/ID/likes, which will return all the likes on a single post against the post ID. To fetch that kind of data, we basically need three endpoints. So you see how difficult it is to fetch the data for just a single post. We call it underfetching because a single endpoint will not return all the data. To get all the data, we need to call these three endpoints. Okay, now let's talk about the overfetching. Overfetching means to get the extra data which is not required. For a moment, let's say we'll get our desired result via these three endpoints. But I want to tell you that when we'll hit this endpoint for getting the posts against the user ID, then we'll not only get the post description, user ID and user image. We'll also get the post ID, post creation time, post location and few other fields. Similarly, when we'll call the comments endpoint, then we'll not only get the comment description, username and user image. We will also get the comment ID, comment creation time, user ID, who created the comment, user email, user location, user IP address, user date of birth and few other fields. So that means we'll get all the data which is of no use in our scenario. We are not going to use all these fields. So at the moment, they are useless and they just increase the JSON payload size. Now let's compare this scenario with the GraphQL. In the GraphQL, we have one endpoint which will handle these things for getting posts, comments and likes. So this time, we just need one request to get all the results. In the GraphQL query, we'll pass the user ID and then we'll specify what kind of data we want to retrieve from the server. So in our case, we want the name of the user, then we want the user image. Okay, then we want the description of the post. Right after that, we want the comments on the post. So in the comments, we want to get the username, user image and comment description. Then we want to get the likes on the post. So we need to get the username, user image who liked the post. Okay. Now you don't need to send 3 different requests to the server to get the data. All you need to do is just add the fields which you want to get. Similarly, let's say you want to get further data like user ID. So you just need to pass the user ID. And this time you'll get the user ID in your response. So with this query, we'll get all the results in a one go. This is the power of GraphQL. Just consider Facebook and just think why they created this GraphQL. The answer is pretty simple. They just want to overcome the underfetching and overfetching of data. And today, almost every company where there are tons of data, they want to use the GraphQL because of its power. Now what about the REST? Is GraphQL will remove the concept of REST? The quick answer is absolutely not. REST is not going anywhere. REST stays here for a while. I also want to tell you that GraphQL is not a replacement of REST. It's just an alternative. Sometimes, when the scope of the project is not so big, then implementing the RESTful structure is the right choice. But when the scope of the project goes beyond its limits, like in case of Facebook, Netflix, Instagram, then GraphQL is the right choice. In simple words, for simple APIs, implementing REST works fine. But as data gets more and more complex, then it's better to use the GraphQL. So that's all from this video. I'll see you in the next one.